Hey, boys and girls, this is Wildman Willis here, and I'm doing a Wildman Willis think piece on the day's wrestling fan. I see a lot of people complaining about Brock Lesnar being the champ again because he doesn't show up on the TV every week like every other person on Raw and SmackDown. And here's the thing. People got spoiled by the Attitude Era and Crash TV, where you had to have the best matches on the show because Raw was competing with WCW. And what happened with that was you had pay-per-view caliber matches on primetime television. So it made it seem like you had to have the stars on the TV all the time. But the difference is back then and what now is, back then, they actually used everybody on the roster on both shows. You had the main eventers, but you also had the mid-carders, and you had the lower-carders, and all of them had some kind of storyline. So you could be invested in them. And you didn't see the same people every week in 50-50 booking, which is the mistake that's going on now. That's why none of the people on Raw and SmackDown right now feel special, is because you got to see the same people all the time. And especially with the champions, you used to have Roman Reigns as a WWE champion losing in random tag matches with people like Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens back a couple years ago. But when it came to the pay-per-view, he would always win. So it was just 50-50 booking. And that hurt a lot of people. That especially hurt him because he had the Cena effect. Every time Cena would be in matches, you knew he was going to win, even though he got beat up the week before or the night before, or however it ran, and it got boring. Just like back in the day, we barely saw Hulk Hogan on the TV, so every time we got a chance to see him, it was special. But then, after a while, once he was on WCW at one point, he was always on the TV. So it didn't make him as special as he was. So people got sick of him. The fans got sick of him and his corny storylines. So once they set up the NWO, it was cool. But after a while, once again, you kept on seeing Hogan on the TV. And it got boring again. Even though we liked the NWO, but still, after a while, it got irritating. So that's the problem right now. The fans are so used to seeing all the stars every week. Nobody doesn't feel special. And they blame Brock on stuff. But the thing is, if we go do your research, when Brock leaves and come back on the TV, he draws people in because you don't see him all the time. So I think if they did that with a lot of other people on the roster, WWE has the biggest roster that they had in years. But yet and still, you only see the same few people on the TV every week. And it doesn't help the roster. And it doesn't help your big main event stars, because after a while, it gets repetitive because you run out of matches with them. Because at one point, you used to have Randy Orton and John Cena in a pay-per-view main event for almost 2 straight years, and everybody got sick of it. So maybe once Bischoff and Heyman gets control of WWE, hopefully they'll get a chance to give more opportunities to more people on the roster and give something for everybody to do. So, like, you can switch it up. You can have Seth on the TV 2 weeks out of the row and let him go away for a week or two and then bring him back. Look at Charlotte. She's not been on the TV for a while, so when she come back, it feels important. Because after a while, her and Becky got stale because you kept on seeing them every pay-per-view or at the end of almost every SmackDown or Raw going against each other. They got repetitive. Now she'll come back fresh. A lot of people need to go away for a couple weeks and not come back. Because as the old saying goes, if you're always there, you never get a chance to miss them. And that's what's happening with a lot of people on the roster. You don't get a chance to miss them because they always there. So that's something that WWE really needs to fix. And a lot of other wrestling companies need to fix that too. Especially if you had big rosters, don't have the same people on it all the time. You will keep your interest up with the fans. That's why the ratings are so low. Because you have the same people on TV every week. Trading wins and trading losses. So that doesn't make anybody feel special at all. And that's the problem. Nobody feels special because you always see them on the TV. Look at Undertaker. Undertaker don't be on the TV that much, even though he's a legend. But still, he don't be on the TV that much. So when he comes out, it's special. So hopefully he'll stay gone for a little bit longer and come back so we can miss him. Like people like Goldberg, even though he ain't as good as he used to be, people still get hyped when he come back, even though it might not happen this time around. So that's what WWE need to change, and that's what a lot of wrestling rosters and companies need to learn from. Don't have the same people wrestling on the show every week. It gets repetitive. And a lot of people lose interest in that. Some people are just used to it because that's all they know. That's the only kind of wrestling that they've been used to for the last 15 years. Because it wasn't like that before. Trust me. I grew up in the era when you would only see Hulk Hogan maybe once every 2 or 3 months. And that's usually if you got the pay-per-view or on Saturday night's main event. You would get him on an interview, or you might see him wrestle an enhancement talent. But other than that, that's about it. So that's the problem with the modern wrestling and the modern wrestling fans, because they're just used to crash TV and just used to seeing the same people on TV all the time. So this is Wildman Will signing off. See you next time.